The concept of the modern pantheon refers to the manifestation and reinterpretation of ancient deities and mythologies within contemporary religious and spiritual practices. This idea suggests that gods and mythical figures from ancient cultures have not vanished, but have been reimagined and integrated into modern belief systems and cultural expressions. This phenomenon is pivotal in understanding how ancient spiritual archetypes continue to influence modern identities, values, and worldviews, offering continuity and relevance to age-old beliefs in today's diverse cultural landscape. One significant aspect of the modern pantheon is its role in catering to the spiritual needs of individuals seeking connection with the past while addressing current existential queries. For instance, the rise of neo-pagan movements, such as Wicca and Druidry, demonstrates how ancient Celtic and Norse deities are adopted and revered in contemporary contexts. These practices often emphasize nature worship and seasonal rites, resonating with individuals craving ecological harmony and spiritual meaning beyond conventional religious frameworks. Another example can be found in popular culture, where ancient gods and myths are frequently reimagined in literature, film, and television. The Marvel Cinematic Universe's portrayal of Norse gods, like Thor and Loki, illustrates how these age-old figures are embedded in modern narratives, imbuing stories with timeless themes of heroism, struggle, and redemption that are accessible and engaging to global audiences. Supporters of this concept argue that the endurance of these ancient deities in modern settings reflects a universal human tendency to seek archetypal symbols that articulate shared experiences and moral values. Scholars like Carl Jung have emphasized the importance of myths as expressions of the collective unconscious, suggesting that these narratives fulfill deep psychological needs by providing frameworks for understanding life's complexities. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding the modern pantheon. Critics argue that the commodification and fictionalization of ancient deities can strip them of their sacred context, reducing rich cultural traditions to mere entertainment. Furthermore, some traditionalists may view the adaptation of these deities into new religious movements as a distortion of historical authenticity. Despite such controversies, the modern pantheon remains interconnected with broader discussions on cultural identity, religious pluralism, and spiritual innovation. By bridging ancient and contemporary eras, it enriches the cultural tapestry, allowing believers and non-believers alike to explore diverse perspectives on divinity and human existence. This concept ultimately underscores a dynamic interplay between past and present, shaping the evolving landscape of global religious and cultural thought. The concept of the modern pantheon, how ancient gods manifest in contemporary religion, explores how ancient deities, once worshipped with fervor, have found new life and expression in modern religious practices and spiritual movements. This phenomenon highlights the timeless human inclination to seek connection with the divine, reinventing ancient archetypes to suit contemporary contexts. Significantly, this point underscores the continuity of religious experience and the adaptability of spiritual beliefs in addressing modern existential queries. A prime example of this can be seen in neo-paganism, particularly within Wicca, where gods and goddesses from ancient Roman, Greek, Norse, and Celtic pantheons are revered as part of a living tradition. Followers of these paths draw upon ancient mythology and rituals, updating them to fit modern ethical standards and lifestyles, thus preserving these deities' relevance and providing a framework for spiritual exploration. Another illustration is the incorporation of Hindu deities in New Age spiritual practices. Deities like Shiva and Lakshmi are often included in meditation and mindfulness practices due to their symbolic representation of transformation and prosperity, respectively. This adaptation allows these ancient symbols to offer guidance and solace in today's rapidly changing world. Supporting opinions suggest that resurrecting ancient gods in modern contexts fulfills a deep psychological need, offering a sense of continuity and identity in a world where many feel disconnected from traditional religious institutions. Joseph Campbell's insights into the power of myth affirm that these stories and symbols resonate universally, providing meaning and context to the human experience. However, this blending of ancient and modern spirituality is not without its challenges. Critics argue that such practices can lead to cultural appropriation, where the sacred symbolism of ancient religions is taken out of context and used superficially by those outside the originating culture. Additionally, there is debate over the authenticity of these modern interpretations, with some purists questioning whether these practices truly honor the historical essence of the deities involved. This exploration of how ancient gods find new expressions today is crucial in understanding the dynamic nature of religion itself. It reflects broader themes within the main topic, such as the human tendency to reinterpret spiritual beliefs in light of cultural and societal evolution. By examining this modern pantheon, we gain insights into how ancient wisdom continues to inspire and shape contemporary spirituality, informing ethical considerations, individual identity, and community belonging in an ever-evolving religious landscape. The modern pantheon, how ancient gods manifest in contemporary religion, examines the fascinating transition and adaptation of ancient deities into today's religious and cultural landscapes. The concept of historical context, from ancient to contemporary gods, offers a glimpse into how ancient mythology and religious figures resurface and evolve in modern beliefs and practices. This historical perspective is fundamental to understanding how ancient deities still influence contemporary religious thought, providing a continuous thread that connects past spiritual practices with today's belief systems. Throughout history, gods have embodied the values, hopes, and fears of societies. As civilizations transformed, so too did their pantheons. The significance of this evolution lies in the ways these ancient deities are reinterpreted to meet modern spiritual needs, reflecting enduring human concerns and questions. This historical progression highlights humanity's evolving relationship with the divine and underscores the adaptability of spiritual narratives. One notable example is the resurgence of Norse mythology in neo-pagan movements such as ancestral, which honors gods like Odin and Thor in a contemporary context. This revival reflects a desire to reconnect with cultural roots and find relevance in ancient wisdom. Similarly, the Hindu god Ganesha, traditionally revered as a remover of obstacles, has found a place in the modern world as a symbol of new beginnings and intellectual pursuit, embraced by people across various spiritual and cultural backgrounds. The reimagining of ancient deities often garners support for its potential to foster a sense of identity and continuity with the past. It speaks to a broader human need for connection with history, offering a sense of continuity amidst ever-changing social landscapes. However, this adaptation of ancient gods is not without its controversies. Critics argue that modern interpretations can oversimplify or commercialize complex traditions, potentially leading to cultural appropriation or misrepresentation. Others believe these transformations dilute original meanings for contemporary convenience. Despite these challenges, the exploration of historical context enriches our understanding of how ancient gods remain relevant. By tracing their evolution, we see the seamless integration of historical and modern beliefs, offering insights into the central theme of how these figures manifest in contemporary religions. This historical lens provides a grounding framework for examining other aspects of the modern pantheon, such as cultural adaptation and evolving spiritual practices, deepening our understanding of humanity's enduring quest for meaning and connection with the divine. In exploring the concept of the modern pantheon, how ancient gods manifest in contemporary religion, we delve into the fascinating phenomenon where deities from ancient mythologies find new relevance and expression in today's spiritual landscape. This concept reflects the resurgence and reinterpretation of ancient gods and their narratives within modern religious practices and personal spirituality. The significance of this point lies in its ability to bridge the temporal gap between ancient wisdom and contemporary spiritual needs, allowing for a dynamic, evolving understanding of divinity that resonates with modern believers. One key example of this phenomenon is the resurgence of Norse gods, such as Odin and Thor, within the spiritual framework of neo-paganism and ancestral, a revivalist movement. These deities, once central to the Norse people, have found new life among those seeking a connection to their ancestral roots, as well as individuals drawn to the values and ideals embodied by such gods. Another example can be found in the rising interest in Hindu deities beyond their traditional worship in South Asia. Figures like Ganesha, known as the remover of obstacles, have gained popularity among Western spiritual seekers, who incorporate his iconography and associated rituals into their personal practices to seek guidance and success. Proponents of this modern pantheon movement often highlight the universality and timelessness of mythological themes, suggesting that ancient gods embody archetypal elements of the human experience that remain relevant today. This perspective posits that reconnecting with these ancient figures can offer valuable insights into contemporary issues, such as environmental stewardship, personal empowerment, and community cohesion. However, this revival is not without challenges and controversies. Critics argue that the appropriation or commodification of these ancient deities for contemporary ends can lead to a superficial understanding of rich cultural heritage, reducing complex mythologies to symbols devoid of context. Additionally, tension may arise when these practices overshadow or compete with traditional forms of worship, raising questions about cultural sensitivity and authenticity. This resurgence of ancient gods in the modern world influences other aspects of spirituality by encouraging eclectic practices that integrate diverse mythological elements, fostering a more personalized and pluralistic religious experience. It also prompts a re-evaluation of how stories and symbols from the past can inform and enrich modern spiritual landscapes, challenging believers to find new meaning in ancient myths. Thus, the manifestation of ancient gods in contemporary religion not only revitalizes old traditions but also reshapes the fabric of modern spiritual practice.